Hello, my darlings. It is Maree here from the Sable Society. And it's been a long time between drinks and stitches, as they say. Several months since I have brought you a video, and I apologise for that. I know so many of you have missed it. It was one of the things at Knit August Nights that you said to me you wanted to see more of, and I think I've only done one, maybe two videos since then. So I'm really sorry about that. But life, it's a funny old thing. Life gets in the way, doesn't it? But I've been knitting, which has been good. Now, if you've not been here before, this is the Sable Society. This is a channel that's really kind of about knitting, talking, events, and just sort of having a good old gas bag about the things that you've got on your needles. Sable is an acronym that stands for Stash Acquired Beyond Life Expectancy. So if you've got a little bit of stash at your place, don't feel guilty about it because you're a Sable and you're in the right place. So welcome along for the first episode of 2026. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe because that actually does help, so they say. And strap in. Let's talk about what's been going on with me since our last video. Now, the biggest thing is if you follow the events, Knit August Nights, you would have seen that I have launched with Catherine Trippett across at the Australian wool store, the Australian wool store over in Sydney or the Sydney area, that we have launched Knit Australia Nights. She sort of gave me the nudge in the right direction and said, right, Maree, you need to bring Can to Australia. So we are. So Can is coming to Bendigo in Victoria in July. Now, for those who are across the ditch or travel from New Zealand, will actually know that also the Australian Sheep and Wool Show happens in Bendigo in July, and this is no coincidence. So Knit Australia Nights has been scheduled for the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday ahead of the Australian Sheep and Wool Show, which starts on the Friday. We've done that very deliberately. We've done that to allow those that are travelling great distances, whether that be within Australia or coming across from New Zealand, that you have the opportunity to kill two birds with one stone, as it were, and actually make a real trip of it. Or you can just choose to attend one or t'other of the events. It also has meant that we're able to bring together a group of tutors who were going to be in the area anyway. So there were a lot of little logistical things that made things quite important. But let me show you the website that I have been building, which is now live at knitaustralianights.com. So let me just go and do this. I'm actually recording this on Zoom today. Usually I record natively into the system, but I wanted to be able to show you the new Knit Australia Nights website, and here it is. So you'll find it, as I said, knitaustralianights.co.nz. The first thing to here is registrations open February 14th. So if you're wanting to register for the event, that's when registrations open. Unlike, I don't know how things are going to go. Like during Can registration day, which is always May 1st, is this huge big deal. It's massive. There's lots going on, and I often find that it can get a bit crazy. I don't know how this is going to be. I really don't. It is going to open at 10 a.m., same as Can, but Australian Eastern Daylight Time, which will be midday here in New Zealand. Bendigo, as I said, Victoria, 12th to the 14th of July. Now, if you're on the website and you're wanting to see what we have, and I just need to move myself so I can see what I'm doing. Righty-ho. Across the top there, we have everybody in our classes. I have been able to convince Libby Johnson from Truly Myrtle and Lisa Craig from Burnt Hill Yarns and Lisa F Designs, who are key tutors for me at Knit August Nights, to come across to do Knit Australia Nights. And it works great for them because they've been itching to get to the Australian Sheep and Wool Show as well. So we're killing a couple of birds with one stone. All your classes across the top here. So all you need to do to see what you want to see at Knit Australia Nights is click on the class link. So you've got classes with Libby, a little bit there about Libs, and then all the classes. Now, we have 5 tutors, 3 days, 19 classes, and a number of these include master classes. And a master class is a full day class. So it runs across 6 hours. So you'll be able to really dive into a topic. Libby has a masterclass, Lisa has a masterclass, Catherine has a masterclass. So there are, and I think Joanne too has a masterclass as well. So there is you can get a lot done in that space of time. So we have that as an option. And then we just have the 3 hour skills sessions, all of which will be doing those too. So there's lots of different options. So these are some of the offerings there from Libby. I'm not going to dive into each of these individually. Check them out yourselves, knitaustralianites.com. Here's Lisa's. And Lisa is actually bringing some new classes that she's testing out for Knit Australia Nights, which we may bring back to Knit August Nights. So it's great. So Lisa and Libby, they're operating 3 full days there. Catherine, there's the lovely Catherine with Libby at Cannes. So Lisa and Libby, their class is very much knitting focused. With Catherine, Joanne, and Kathy, which are our superstars from Australia, we're starting to dive into some other related crafts. So with Catherine, we're looking at dyeing of sock blanks, embroidery. Catherine did embroidery on your knitting at Knit August Nights. It sold out in an absolute nanosecond. Everybody loved it. She's bringing her mad embroidery skills back to Knit Australia Nights. We're doing a shorter session, embroidery in the felted pouch, and then this neat whimsical darning that she's doing, and then the wool embroidery on knitting, which was an absolute superstar class at Cannes. Joanne Barr, now to the Australians, many of you may know Joanne or have done her classes. She's from Jam Hats. Joanne is incredible and makes the most beautiful, beautiful wet felt hats. I mean, when Catherine suggested Jo and I took, amazing. In fact, I may even have to break my take a class at Canberra in order to do this because it is so incredible. So I am super excited to have Jo along. So she's going to be doing a felted lamp shade workshop. This is something that's new that she's just been working on, as well as creating her own wet felt designer hat, which is apparently incredibly well sought after across Australia. And lastly, Kathy Vasic. Now, she is a crochet master. She also has her own, I've got her doing at Nulla and Nell, but she also, from what I'm told, I haven't changed the sections yet. I only saw it this morning, but she also designs under her own label as well. And Kathy is the absolute crochet maven, and she is going to be getting you hooked in the evenings. That's what Kathy will be doing, and she's going to be introducing new stitches, waistcoat stitch. Look at that. Doesn't that look fantastic? And then also assigned pooling with crochet. So just to mix things up, she reckons these are great classes for the evening to help wind you down of a big day that's been going on. So it's jam-packed, the program. So do make sure if you're thinking of coming along to come and check this out. The whole purpose of Knit August Nights. Now, here in New Zealand, a lot of people, it is quite class heavy. A lot of people do classes. So we have more emphasis on the workshops and the learning. We also do have a bit of shopping. Here in New Zealand, I hold it in a hotel, in a pub, on a beach. In Bendigo, we are at the Lakeside Quality Hotel. It's riverside, so we're mixing up a beach for a river. Still a beautiful, beautiful venue, beautiful location. You're able to explore Bendigo and have a good look around, but the whole emphasis is heavy emphasis on teaching and learning. So there are your classes at a glance, very full program. If you're wondering sort of what you need to budget for. I try and keep the costs as far down as I possibly can. Something that I do here at Can, and we've taken that same ethos across to Knit Australia Nights. We have a base registration. We need to have that base registration. That's what covers the venue hireage. And it goes without saying, whilst the venue, all the venues I deal with have been incredible, there is a cost attendant to that, and we need to make sure that we cover those costs. Okay, so and these costs are significant when you use a quality venue, as this venue is. So that covers the venue. It gets you access to the event, access to be able to book the classes. You can't book the classes without having a base registration. It's as simple as that. You get access to the social space. You can have access to the market, so there'll be a goodie bag. So I know that isn't a lot of people, particularly locals in the area, will be like, well, why can't I just attend the classes? It's essentially because to attend the classes, you need to attend the venue. The venue has come at a cost to us to hire that venue. And if I build that into the class costs, it just blows everything out. Believe me, I've been doing this since 2009. This is the formula that works best. The cost, I've actually simplified the cost classes. I'll probably introduce this across to Can New Zealand this year. It's $150 for the masterclass, $80 for the 3-hour skills session half-day classes. There could be some material fees that apply to some of these classes. As you can see, some of the classes they will provide everything. Instead of you actually having to scrounge around and gather up what you need, the classes will supply everything. So there may be a small material fee there as well. And we will have a few trading spaces available too. So if you're coming to the Australian Sheep and Wool Show and you're trading, and you may want to tack on an extra few days and get a little bit of trading in with us, there could be the ability to do that. Not a heavy emphasis on trading, I will say, but there will be a few limited spaces available. All our charge outs for those here in New Zealand will be in Australian dollars because it's an Australian-based event. So I need to do it in Australian dollars. So just so you're aware, so that is the website. This here is another important little button. If you haven't done so already, if you click on that, that signs you over into the newsletter and lets you know what is going on, when it's going on, how it's going on, when I send those newsletters out. So do make sure you do that. And the other thing too is I have Instagram and Facebook, so do make sure you like or follow either of those, and you will also get all the information you need for that as well. So that is Knit Australia Nights. I hope you have if you're wanting to come along, we'd love to see you. This is our first one in Australia, so I am taking a lot of the foundations of the formula for Knit August Nights here in New Zealand to the Australian concept, but things are slightly different in Australia. You have the market there has different needs, hence the reason with the wider variety of classes. There also could still be something a little extra special that may happen yet, so do make sure you watch out for that. And that will hopefully be announced. If we can pull it off, we're just working on it at the moment, which is why it's important to sign up for those notifications, the newsletters, and the social media, because you will find out there first what is going on. So yes, if you can join us for Knit Australia Nights, we'd love to see you. We're looking forward to the first one, and yeah, exciting. So that's what's going on. Right. What have I been up to? What has been on the needles? Since I spoke to you last, so Knit August Nights for me, for Sable Society Yarn, was a massive hit and success. In fact, I sold out of almost all the colour helix yarns. The mohair went incredibly well. So did the hand-dyeds. So the last of the colour helix, I had one colour left, 5 balls of one colour. And I only had one sample, and I wanted to do a sample that incorporated both the mohair and the colour helix together. And this is it. So I just whipped this bad boy up, which you're looking at it going, it's a square. I don't know what that is. It's a square, Maree. Why did you knit a square? It's not a square, it's a poncho. So this is based off the ratio poncho, which is a design of mine, which is available on Ravelry. Hello. It's free. And it's just essentially working using a basic, oh gosh, now I can't. Come on, you know you want to at the back. Doing a poncho based off simple ratios. There we go. And this is it here. So this is the poncho. It's designed just as a quick little over the top using the color helix yarn. The fabric is fabulous. Now, where the ratio comes in is down the bottom here. As you can see, there's this garter stitch panel, and there is actually a cheeky little short row in here because of the nature of the width of uh, garter stitch rows versus stocking stitch. So that's it there. I'm absolutely thrilled with it. It shows off the fabric beautifully. So I knit this bad boy out while I was away overseas in October. And I know that this is something incredibly simple, but really, really wearable. And I think that's one of the things that we find. Sometimes now we sort of try to dive into the complex and we want to knit these really complicated things. And I'm there. Don't, I mean, look, I live in that glass house. I mean, hey, I survived the field cardigan. I live there. I've been there. I can do that. And it's actually sometimes really nice to do that. But sometimes with your knitting, you just want to do something that's quick, simple, easy, brainless, pick up, put down, but it actually creates something that's really practical and really wearable. And that's what the ratio poncho is. If you're ever looking for that, a pattern like that, the ratio poncho is your friend. It does do that. And it is, as I said, it's free, it's highly customizable. So I worked on that, and it took me a wee while to do that because I was away on holiday and didn't knit as much as I thought I was going to. Shocker. I have knit a couple of cowls, the rib bee cowl, which again another freebie that I have on my Ravelry. I knit one of those as a gift, and then I knit another one, which I may actually publish out, which I knit also as a gift, but I didn't photograph it. Typical. It was a Christmas gift. So that I enjoyed it. And I've got this thing at the moment. This is what I'm going to talk about now. I've got this thing at the moment. Since finishing up from Skeins, and I bought all my, personal stuff home. And for those that followed me over on the Skeins Diaries knows that I had this sort of yarn library and my stash kind of spilled out from home. So it wasn't just at home. It was a lot of it was at Skeins. So by the time I bought it all home, including the books, which I sold off at most of them off at Can actually. Yay. Very happy about that. I'm so glad they got great new homes. But when I brought all this yarn home, I was like, oh my lordy, 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 lordy. I had so much amazing yarn, but a lot of them were single balls here and there or like a set of something which was arranged but a single color of each or like weird and wonderful crazy stuff. And I had loads of it. And when I say loads of it, I mean freaking loads of it. Like heaps and heaps. So what does one do? So what I have done, and I'm going to start working through that this year, is out in my sleep out, which is being converted back into my office, hopefully this year, once the nest gets emptied very soon. I'm empty nesting from next month. I have big old suitcases that used to be props at Skeins, and they've come home too. All of these now are filled with bags with yarns that have all been put together, and I've labelled them with thoughts of what it is that those things can be, like hats, mitts, gloves, cowls, scarves, what have you. And I've gone and combined them together in little clusters of colour and sort of color texture and the like weights so they can work together. So that for me, I actually spent an entire afternoon doing this last year. And I thought, well, that'll just help with that decision making process. Then I had a couple of big, I think I've shown them on this video, a couple of big of those zip bags, that you get from buying a duvet or curtains or what have you. I keep all of those. They make great stash bags. And I had one that I just called felted slippers because they're all DK weight yarns. They were all non-shrink treated that to use for slippers. And there was a lot of really weird and wonderful stuff in there, some thread waste, all sorts. And that was in the felted slippers. Whilst I was looking at the felted slipper bag, and I just happened to look at it, and it's just the way the colours fell. They look really incredible. And I was looking for the next sort of garment project to knit, and I have a mosaic slip stitch pattern that I do a lot. I think I've shown you on previous videos the cows and the hats that I did a whole heap of last year using it. I have that available. It's in the Harding Road series, these hats and cows, that both of those are free on Ravelry. And I thought, what if I took that pattern just using all these random balls, and a lot of them single balls, most of them 50 grams, some 100 gram, and actually created a garment? Well, I did. And here it is. I haven't even tried it on. It literally only came off the blocking mats yesterday. So this is it here. I thought, because I'm making this up, I need to keep it simple, stupid. So I went with a drop-shouldered, boxy, sleeveless top, which is ideal. I do a lot of layering pieces. It's the sort of thing that I can throw over a long sleeve t-shirt or something here. The climate that I live in is quite often conducive to that. And here it is. And of course, from a design perspective, it's nice and easy because it's just very boxy. Now, this patterning, gosh, it looks good on the screen, doesn't it? Doesn't it look good on the screen? Woohoo! So happy with that. Really happy with that. This pattern is easiest to knit in the round, okay, on a right side. So I knitted it in the round and thought, get over your big bad girl self, Maree. You're going to stake this. So that's what I did. So I knit this in the round. I got to this portion here, and I'll turn this inside out so you can see it. When I did that, there we go, look at that. I did just a series of stocking stitch so I could have something to steek, and then carried on around. And I did that up here at the neck as well. Not quite to the same extent, but you can see it just there. But there it is there, which then actually, and to be fair, most people will only give you a little steek selvage of about 4 to 6 stitches. I went a little bit OTT because I'm not as one with the steeking as I would like. So mine was actually quite a bit bigger. I think I did 12 or something. But it did mean that I get this lovely selvage, which allowed me heaps of room, and then also too, it allowed me to be able to gently sew it up and do this lovely edge, which I was absolutely thrilled about. So there it is there. I'm absolutely delighted with it. Just nice crew neck at the top, just completely improvised. Am I going to publish the pattern? No, I'm just making it. No, is the short answer to that, because anyone can do this. And because it's like the vest of many colours, it's going to go with freaking everything. So I'm super excited about that. Here's the one thing I will say though. Because I'm changing colours every 2 rows. Okay, which side did I do it on? That side there. Because I change colours on every 2 rows, go to the social media and you will see Endageddon. I didn't really consider Endageddon. And usually when it comes to Endageddon, when I have done projects before, I've always sewn in my ends as I go. I've always been quite diligent about that. Didn't do this time. 4 hours. 4 hours to sew down those steek sleeves and Endageddon. 4 hours. So pretty much a whole afternoon I spent just on the finishing. That's not even picking up the stitches. That's just Endageddon. But it was worth it, and it did make it much, much easier to knit this as a whole. So there it is. I will get my act together and pop this on my little dummy and take some photos of that for you and show you what that looks like, and I'll get that up on Ravelry and socials hopefully in the next little bit. So that is what as I said, only came off the blocking mats yesterday. The other thing, because when I put that on the blocking mats, is my son is empty nesting. The second one is heading off. So number one is going back to his tertiary education later in February. Number 2 is heading off early in February to embark on his university education. So that's very exciting for him. I'm was super excited about the empty nest. Now I'm getting the whole mother thing. I know I'll get over that real quick, but it's where I am at the moment. He loves Stranger Things, saw the end of Stranger Things. A character in there was wearing a fisherman rib, grey, marl, sweater. My son fell in love with it. He wanted it. And I said, I love you. He goes, Kim, can you knit me that, Mum? Can you knit me that for uni? And I said, I can knit you a jumper for uni, darling. That's no worries, but fisherman rib. Yeah, no, I'm not masochistic. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to myself, my love. But I do have another rib that I do that I will do, and I think it'll give you the same effect. So I showed him this jumper, which has been I knit. It's if anyone Southland. This is good old Southlander, Java Bracken, as it was back in the day. And it was actually even before it was Java Bracken. I don't even think we'd done the Southlander colours. Uh, Definitely, it was made by the Skeins Mill. I knit this before I worked there. So it shows you how old it is. And I started working there a long time ago. So it shows you how old this is. I knit it initially for my husband. Good old look, classic drop shoulder. It was when I was getting back into knitting, and it no longer fits him, but it fits me fabulously. So I wear this all the time. So I showed this to him, and he put it on. And whilst it was a touch big for him, my son's a 6'4" and he's a big lad, but it was a touch big for him and a touch short. It wasn't so much that I couldn't work with it. And he put it on. He went, "Oh no, no, I quite like that rib." And he's like, "Can you make it a little bit longer and the neck not quite as wide?" And he liked the drop shoulder and just watch the sleeve length and blah blah blah. So the modifications for me to make off that as a base template were not out of the realms of possibility. So I went in and I didn't have enough stash in to do it. So I did pop into Skeins to get, because he was very specific. He wanted a soft, natural grey marl. And this is, there it is there. As I was saying, you know how I said I've got bags? This is bags of just single balls of yarn. This is it here. So it's one of their solo yarns. It's called Chinchilla. It's one of the blends that they pull together for the closing of the mill. 10 ply. This one is doesn't say what it is, but just looking at it, it'll be a mystery blend of all things white, and feeling the softness and looking at the blend of it wouldn't half surprise me. Merino standard wool, shrink threaded wool, and even potentially a bit of pole with whatever, I'm not too sure. Probably just shrink threaded wool maybe. And even just a hint of something darker, which, knowing what was lying around, was probably some alpaca in there to make it a bit darker. Needless to say, it's stunning. They do still have some if you want to get some, but it's absolutely beautiful. So I ended up buying a whole heap, and then I went back and bought some more because I didn't know when I was going to have enough. So that's it there. So he's now seen this. He has approved the colour and the ribbing. So that is what I'm about to embark on, is that jumper for him. So that'll keep me out of mischief for a minute or two. But while I was waiting for the swatch to dry and do the measurements and get into it, I had nothing really on the needles. So after I'd finished, all the bits and bobs with that one, I still had, literally bags. Like, I've got about 3 big bags like this by my knitting chair, plus all of those ones that I told you I'd already bagged out. And a lot of these were beautiful. And one of the ones that didn't get used in there, which I found as I was diving through, was the most gorgeous single ball of Zalana possum curry. I think it was a Remu possum. It's just one ball. And looked at the meterages, and I had a little bit of, oh good, because a little bit of that guy there. So I just quickly banged up easy toque, just a quick little boom, little hat. As you can see, I haven't even blocked it, but look at the bloom on that possum. Oh, freaking delicious, right? And my husband is completely bald. He's been shaved head bald for 20 years. So of course hats are his friend because he does feel the cold in the winter. He's a big hat man, and in out dog walking, you see he loves himself just a toque that he can throw on. So I knitted this for him. He's got another and possum. He adores possum, so a lot of the ones that I knit for him are possum ones because they just feel so good when they're worn right against the skin. The other thing I did with this is usually people would knit these in the round, but I'm just having a real jam at the moment, knitting them flat, popping a wee selvage in there. And, there is something super satisfying about a perfectly executed mattress stitch. I know, it's the little things. It's the little things that entertain you. That entertains me. What I love about these hats, I think it's under Buskie's Bog Standard Basic Beanie. This is a variation of that. It's is that these hats are quick. They're quick, they're easy, they make amazing gifts. They're also quite nice little blank canvases and templates if you want to play around with color or patterns. You can do that with it too. You can, play around with the shaping and figure out, where it is that you want to go. And they don't use a lot of yarn. I mean, this entire, just as a toque, is like 48 grams. So you can do this out of a single ball if you've got about 100 odd meters. As you can see, I've just done a little edging there. And I did have enough. I could have done this entire thing out of the single ball, but I like the little difference. If you want to go slouchy, I've got in that pattern I showed, this is obviously the toque version, but you can go a slouchy version just by adding more rows through here to add a bit of slouch. You can do lots of favorite things. So I literally banged it up. We've had some rainy days here. A few rainy days, beautiful days, but some rainy ones as well. So that was a rainy afternoon. I got that banged out. And then as I was diving through, one of the browns that's used in that in the vest is this little gorgeous number here. And if Liz is watching, she'll recognize this. Liz and her friend, this is a Saxony Merino, which is from uncombed, as you can see. From the top of the South Island, it is like freaking brown butter. It is amazing. And they bought me just a single ball. It was off a home flock that they had custom spun for them, and it is utterly delicious. So I have used a little bit of that in the vest. And the nice thing about using this, of course, is that I can use it in other things. So I've just put a little bit in here, and it's also going to be going into a hat. And I pulled together when I was diving around in my little bags of tricks, I found a little bit left over. That's the Great Ocean Road woolen spun that I used in the cowl that I showed you, the Harding Road cowl that I did last winter that I thrashed. So that was what was left over of that. And then I found that bad boy. Look at that. If you recognise that from the Skeins Diaries, that is Remore from Kelly & Co., which I did my husband's limerick sweater and my nanook in a few years ago. I didn't think I had any left at all. And when I weighed that little bad boy up, it was about 55 grams. I got really excited. So at 55 grams, I was like doing the mind math. I was like, ooh, that's enough because of the meterage is even though it's a 10 ply, it's a DK meterage because of being woolen spun. So I got super excited. So I've literally just started this morning. Oh, hold on, let's get it around the right way, Maree. There we go. Started that this morning. So just doing the same sort of thing, a little bit of colour across the rib. I'm doing the oatmeal there. Then I will go in with this, and the rest of the hat will be in that Donegal tweed. So that's the current work in progress. And if I have any of the tweed left over, I'll probably do a reverse bizzo on the rib and for the next one, and go through and use that Saxony. I love doing these hats. They bang out really quick. It means that I can, they're great for gifts, great for having around the house. These will probably, look, I think I'll end up doing a whole heap of them and sending them down to my son at uni at Christchurch. He's got him and his 5 of his mates are all going down there. Can't have the boys with cold hairs. Now they get, they'll get cold going to the rugby. So I'll probably end up making a whole heap for them. And like, as I said, like that was the Gaia that I did in that first possum. And then I found these two different yarns, similar colours, both possum blends. And I looked at that and I thought, well, there's another hat. There's another hat right there. Weighed it all up. Ooh, yep. So I'll do something with that as well. So it's a really great way, especially if you've got these stunning, beautiful yarns lying around and you've got part balls, you're thinking, what am I going to do with them? Hats are a great way of using them up and not wasting them and having a stunning, usable thing that is utterly beautiful in these expensive yarns at the end. So that's what I'm doing. So that's pretty much me for the new year. I've not got big plans moving forward in terms of what I'm going to knit. Like I've got no big cues going, oh, I want to knit this, I want to knit that. I have bought some more Gaia, which I just love. As you know, when I left Skeins, it's probably the yarn I was most excited about when I left. But I have seen that Lisa F or Lisa Craig from Lisa F is doing some adult patterns. Libby's got some designs there that I'm itching to make. So one of the little personal goals I've set for myself is to knit something both from their catalogues this year, because I just love them. But that's about as far as my commitment goes. So there you go. So to remind you, if you've jumped in late, Knit Australia Nights, that information is now up and available at www.knitaustralianights.com. Just .com. No AU at the end, just .com. knitaustralianights.com. All the classes are there. If you're looking at travelling from New Zealand and you want to stay on to do the Australian Sheep and Wool Show, jump on and get some accommodation now. I went through booking.com, but you can do it through Airbnb. But particularly with the likes, when I booked for Libby, Lisa, and I, the three of us are staying together. We've actually booked off-site because we're staying right through to the Wool Show. There was actually a surprising number of cottages available if you're going as a group, and you don't necessarily have to pay up front straight away either. Payment is made a little bit later down the track. So that's actually a really good thing to do, is to jump in and book something, or at least get a deposit, something secured now, because things do fill up really fast getting closer to that show. Gather up a group of friends and, look at making the trip across the ditch, and you can pick up some really great, I know that the three of us jumped on and bought our airfares when there was a really good sale going, so we could get those airfares at a great price into Melbourne, which we did. So I would, if you're looking at coming from New Zealand, be getting onto that. Registrations open February 14th, which is a Saturday. It's Valentine's Day. Give yourself a Valentine and register for Knit Australia Nights. And also moving forward, once I get all of this sort of pulled together, I'll start updating the information for Knit August Nights, which is already well underway. Pretty much the same group of people that you know and love. We've already been talking about some incredible classes for next year, and some of the simplifications that I've been doing actually for the Bendigo event. Actually, I think I'll do for New Zealand as well. It just makes life easy for us all. And those registrations, I'll endeavour to get all that information out usually by Easter, and then we will registrations there May 1st for the end of August. So that is what's going on with the events. So do make sure you check those out, and feel free to share this video if you've got a knit loving friend that loves content, loves to hear a middle-aged woman rambling about yarn and knitting and events. This is the place for them, and I do appreciate it if you share. But until then, thank you for being so patient and for it taking so long to get you another video. It's been great to catch up with you today, and hopefully I'll talk to you again a little bit sooner next time. Until then, this has been the Sable Society. I've been Maree. Take care.